This terrifying incident took place on the 3rd of July 2024 along the BR-010 highway in Brazil, where a cooking gas tanker became a ticking time bomb, what science clinically calls a bleave. At first, the fire seemed under control. First responders worked hard to tame the flames as they consumed the tanker's surface. But inside the tanker, gas boiled under intense pressure, and the safety mechanisms, designed to avert disaster, couldn't even withstand the extreme forces at play. When the tanker ruptured, the explosion unleashed a shockwave that obliterated everything nearby. Metal shards and burning debris tore through the air, but thankfully, the area had already been isolated. The firefighters closest to the blast suffered minor burns because of their suits and protective gear. However, the TV crew covering the incident felt the impact, with 3 reporters sustaining injuries. Thankfully, no one was close to the blast. Otherwise, the outcome would have been horrific. The next clip you are about to watch is one of the scariest moments I've come across, and it's a nightmare for anyone who loves caves or even just the idea of exploring them.
This is the waiting area.
I'm glad I didn't go in there and
Are you going, Jacob? Oh, he just bailed. Stop.
You're good. Oh my God! I'm coming out. All right, we'll back it out.
Captured and shared by YouTuber Matt Carricker, this scary clip shows a group of friends embarking on what seemed like a routine cave exploration. Everything was going smoothly until things took a terrifying turn when the cave started flooding. The water rose quickly, and before Matt knew it, he and his friends were dangerously close to missing an air hole, and drowning became a real, terrifying possibility. Thankfully, Matt and his crew managed to find their way out, narrowly escaping what could have been a catastrophic end. They lived to tell the tale, but this near miss is enough to make anyone reconsider their love for adventure, or caves for that matter. It all started with a group of thrill-seekers deciding to push a rock down a hill, because, you know, gravity can be pretty entertaining. The first rock tumbled beautifully, and they watched in amazement as it crashed below. What they didn't realize was that their little stunt had awakened the mountain itself. One rock turned into a chain reaction, sending a cascade of boulders plunging into the depths. But the real nightmare came when the ground beneath the cameraman gave way. The rock he was standing on crumbled, almost dragging him into the abyss. Thankfully, his friends acted fast, grabbing him just in time and pulling him back from what would have been certain death. Sometimes it's best to just leave the rocks alone. Kudos to his friends for their quick thinking, because without them, this story could have had a much darker ending. This next CCTV footage captured a young man preparing dinner for his family on a warm evening in June 2024. But what happened next was a horrifying turn of events that would leave the family shaken for life. The insane footage you just saw took place in Vietnam. A father, skilled in the art of grilling squid, went about his routine. He had done this countless times, always adding a splash of alcohol to the flames to give the fire a little boost. But on this particular evening, something went catastrophically wrong. The moment the alcohol hit the brazier, the fire erupted violently, launching a fiery cannonball across the room aimed towards a young girl seated just 2 meters away. In a split second, the fireball struck her and her clothes ignited in flames. Chaos ensued. The family rushed to her aid, frantically trying to extinguish the fire with their hands. It was a desperate and horrifying scene. Once the flames were out, the young girl was rushed to the hospital. Miraculously, she survived the ordeal, but not without sustaining severe injuries that will likely serve as a haunting reminder of that fateful evening. The security camera on the street in the Perpetuo Socorro neighborhood was rolling on November 11, 2024, capturing what should have been just another ordinary day. But instead, it caught a moment that defied all logic and explanation. As you can see, these two teenagers were riding their bike down the street when they approached an intersection. Without checking for oncoming traffic, they decided to cross. Unfortunately, a car speeding through the intersection couldn't stop in time and collided with them. The impact sent both girls flying a significant distance. Miraculously, one of the teens was the first to scramble to her feet, running to the sidewalk for safety. Her friend quickly followed, also managing to get up and move to safety. It's incredible that neither girl sustained any major injuries from such a high-impact crash.
Di jalan nggak bisa, A. Oh.
What you just watched is a terrifying encounter between a man and a massive python. This incident took place on September 25th in West Java, Indonesia. The alarming reality is that deforestation and urbanization in the region have significantly reduced the natural habitats of pythons. As a result, encounters like this are becoming more common. In this case, a resident found himself face-to-face with a 13-foot python that had wrapped itself tightly around his leg under a bridge. Emergency services were called in immediately, and the footage captures the intense rescue effort led by rescuer Eko Uban. The python's grip was alarmingly strong, and removing the snake was no easy task. The team had to secure the reptile's head first before its coils finally began to loosen. Miraculously, the man walked away from this terrifying ordeal without major injuries. What you just witnessed is a terrifying reminder of how nature can surprise us when we least expect it. A group of scuba divers, peacefully going about their underwater activities, suddenly found themselves in a life-threatening situation when lightning struck the water they were submerged in. When lightning strikes water, the consequences are unimaginable for those in its path. The strike doesn't just hit the surface, it sends a shockwave of pure energy through the water. For anyone underwater, this isn't just a flash of light, it's a deafening, percussive shockwave that feels like an explosion beneath the surface. What makes this footage even more terrifying is that the thunderstrike could have easily been fatal. Water, being an excellent conductor of electricity, allows the electrical current to travel far beyond the point of impact, turning an extensive area into a deadly danger zone. By some miracle, these divers were incredibly lucky to avoid serious injury. For the bonus video, we have an insane clip of a man who had no idea what he was stepping on, and his seemingly harmless action quickly turned into an agonizing experience.
Fura demais. Essa é morte. Não vou furar ninguém.
As you can see, this man was attempting to cross a river. For some reason, he thought he was standing on a harmless rock. With his bare feet, he began to stamp on it, not realizing the brutal truth beneath him. What he thought was a rock was, in fact, a stingray, and he found that out in the most painful way. Stingrays, well camouflaged in their natural environments, are deceptively dangerous. When they feel threatened, their defensive mechanism springs into action. After a few moments of stamping, the stingray, likely startled by the man's actions, strikes back. With a swift lash of its tail, it delivers a sharp, venomous sting to the man's foot. The pain is immediate and intense, causing him to stumble and fall into the river.